Hello, everybody. Do you want to unmute me? Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me. And this is my time as a parent to two girls in ballet school. It's all time together. It's from a ballet teacher point of view, and also as a parent. So I'm very much looking forward for us to spend this time together. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit the motivation behind to have this session with you. And I often have a conversation with the parents, and I actually love to talk with the parents and talk about really various different subjects. And I meet the parents when I have DuCon sessions, international. And here in the United States, I met a lot of parents, and I enjoyed my conversation, my time with them. And I enjoy talk to parents when I am as a jury member out there in the competitions, and I often, sometimes just strangers, and having conversation with them. And then also, from my point of view as a parent, there are things that concerning me, you and I have same concerns, and the same areas that I am seeking support. Then it gave me thinking, this is the profession that I'm in. I can pretty comfortably say that I know something about this dance educational industry. If I have questions and have concerns, I have things that I need to support, what about the parents who are out there, let's say a computer programmer or a dentist perhaps? What if their children in dance school and involving competitions, involving ballet school, what type of support do they need? What kind of frame of mind are they in? So to me, I feel like this is you are somewhat neglected. So this is something that I feel that I need to do and give us a chance, and it will be continued community for us to, we're building a community for us to have a continued communication, and for me to have support from you, and for me to provide you the type of answer, the support that you urgently want to know and you deserve to know. And I also want to just open up a little bit about how this industry works and beyond from the outlook of the surface. So this is how I want to go into it is I create a few topics that we have here, and I want to just to go through those. I feel like this is something quite urgent we want to talk about in the first time that we're together in this session. And I also picked a few questions from you, and we received dozens of questions from you, and I picked a few of them that we're going to discuss today. The rest of it we will record. I will record to answer those questions. We will put in community form for you to access later on. Okay, so that platform we're building is going to be there for us. So this is just the starting of our communication. This is starting for me to provide my service, my support to you from one parent to another. So first topic we have here is really straightforward, is how do I know this is the right school for my child? I want you to think about, let's say you shopping for a dress, for a pair of shoes, let's say, for a pair of shoes. So there's quite a few aspects of things that you need to think about of this pair of shoes. One is what do I need this shoes to be? Is it for a dress, for a dinner party? is it for something for me to wear at home or for a rainy day? Different purposes, correct? So when we choose a school, a ballet school, a dance school for a child, you really have to know what this dance element are going to be in her or his general education at this moment. So you said, if I'm going to choose this school just for extracurricular activities, because I do believe that my daughter or my son needs more physical activity. However, sports is not something she or him particularly likes, but she likes dance. So I'm going to choose a school for her to have an extra activity for her to dance in the place of physical activity, okay? Absolutely beautiful, perfect reason to enter a ballet school, dance school. Then you say, you know what? I believe my child is very, very gifted, and she has seen a couple professionals, and from my knowledge, she has what it takes to be a professional. A lot of people, in fact, tell me, and my child, whenever she listens to her music, she starts dancing. Dancing is absolutely her favorite way of express herself. And she has all those beautiful attributes that a professional ballerina has. And I'm going to do proper evaluation to multiple sources to tell me that my child is rare. She has all those qualities that a professional ballet dancer needs to have. Gifted, talented, musical, turned out, have the feet, physicality, and after all, she loves to dance. Now, in this case, I'm going to find a ballet school is going to fulfill her dream. I believe dance is something she ought to do and she cannot live without. I want the dance to be a part of her life, move forward. So there's two very extreme differences. One is just spend extra time in place of physical activity. It's just for me to enjoy. I don't have any extra expectation. The other is the other extreme, because I believe my child is gifted and talented and has everything that takes to be a professional ballerina. And we have everything in between, okay? And I believe there is enough type of school in America, for example, to serve every student needs. In this area alone, Washington, D.C., outside Washington, D.C., Virginia, Maryland, altogether, I do believe we have, how many schools we have? I think we might have 75 students, just in this area. We might have 75 dance schools around here. So I do believe in this, you are talking about public school dance program, you talk about private dance schools, you talk about different community have dance classes, after school events, you're talking about just simple, a teacher have a little group together, all kinds of different schools. I do believe there is a school out there is perfect for your child. I believe that, from whatever that you need. Second thing I do want to talk about is your intuition. Your intuition. So just like when you're walking into a restaurant, when you're walking into a home, when you're walking into, let's say, a store, it's the same store. Two different people walking into different store can have very different feelings. One can be, oh, I feel very happy, very open in this store. And I feel very comfortable here to communicating with the store, with the employee, and I love the product on the shelf, okay? And it can be same store to another parent can walk in and say, you know, I don't feel the communication, I don't feel comfortable talking, and the setup, the class doesn't work for me. You see? It could this could very well happen. So to me, what is the best scenario program for your child? It has to be the number one choice as choice criteria for you. Not necessarily the school that everybody go to. That may not be a good that may not be a perfect scenario for you. You have to understand what works for her, for your child, for your daughter, for your son, and for your family. What the school offers intuitively, what the product, what they're selling works for you, number one. Number two is the communication, the feeling that you have from this organization, it works for you. This is just initial. This is initial. So if we do research, if we buy a pair of shoes, we do thorough research, right? We look online, we look at the store, and we actually tried a couple pair of shoes on for us to even buy a pair of shoes. So I believe that we have the same responsibility to try something out for your children, for your child, to spend quite a bit of time weekly in an environment to be taught, to learn something quite specific and significant from the school and the teachers of that school. I do believe it deserves a thorough investigation. Thorough investigation. Not only you cannot follow the one criteria, which is everybody goes to school, therefore that school must be good and I go. This is not a good enough assessment to me. So how do I research a school? So now you're talking about researching a school. Research a school can have multiple ways. First, online. All you have to do is type the school into the internet. And this is really beauty about the public information, right? Everything that you need to know, you can learn a lot about a person and about a professional, a teacher, a school online. So this is a research we can do. And number one, that includes website, that includes public information, also social media. Social media is a really, really fantastic way for us to learn about the organization. Because after all, what is social media for an organization? Simply put, it is how they want the public to see social media, how they want to present themselves to the public. It's a statement. It's a visual, moving statement about who they are. So through their public presentation, who they want to be in the public, you will know a lot about this school. So another thing we learn these days is schools, perhaps how they do in the competitions. To me, that it does have an effect on how you choose it, because it tells me that school trained school students very well, and at least a level of the technical and artistic level allows them to win in the competition. Yes, absolutely, that's a great, great thing. But you have to know that that particular element, how much is that affecting your child's daily learning experience in that school, right? So if your child is not competition, they say, I don't really mind about the competition. At this moment, it is not my priority. If that is the case, the competition component part of that school, it has an insignificant effect with your participation, your child's participation in the school. So comes down to you ask me what is the most important aspect about that school for me to choose. I always say is the quality of the faculty. This is by far is the most important. This is going to affect your child's everyday life, is the quality of the student. The strength of the brand, how many students win in the competitions, how big the school is, and how many branches the school has. These are all beautiful things. It's an important element, but it comes down to is the attitude, the professional readiness of the faculty, because that element affects your child every single day. Every time she goes to the school, that element has a direct effect on her learning experience. And to be more honest, affecting her, the entire outlook about leadership, about idea of learning, how to learn, about the strength of overcoming difficulties, about attitude in learning, about trust adults and authority figure. Many, many different aspects of this goes to beyond a ballet teacher, only just a ballet teacher. So, investigation, the quality of the teaching staff is the most important part to me about a school. And don't also ever forget, you always have a opportunity to a trial, right? So we believe, let's say, you know, Decoding, and I have an online business, and I also have a offline business. Decoding is another brand that we have. We have repeat customers a lot. We have new customers, new students sign in, but we have students being with us from day one. They participated every single Decoding to the point where the next year we give those particular students completely free participation because they've been with us from very day one. So the consistency of our service, I have to say, it is something that we believe from very day one is an essential element of our business, is the consistency in how we do our business. So this consistency is going to show in the business of the ballet school. This is something that I think also you have to learn. This consistency quality is not something you will find out for one day. It's not something you can find out in a week. It's not something you can find out even in 6 months. It's not. It's a prolonged experience in order for you to understand the quality of that school. And that's why the quality, the consistency of the school is going to play a big role in the quality of the education your child receives. Understand? So that goes side by side. So I feel important thing to do, you have to create a trial period for your student to feel if there's something in that school that hold you back, or there is hesitation not allowing you to be who you are in the school, and through your communication with the school is always going to be professional. This is all part of the consistency I'm talking about. So there's always, you have to believe the quality of the education is not just for one day. For first week, the trial week, she received a fantastic week. Everybody's so happy. But you have to monitor, as a parent, we do have to monitor how she progresses, not technically. If that's something that we're not understanding the business enough to understand how she technically progresses, but we have to understand, we have to detect, have the eye and have the sensibility and the care to monitor the emotional progress of your child when she's in that particular school. You have to see the changes. So if you see the changes are not positive, if your student come home oftentimes concerned or unhappy, or you see the mood, the progression of her emotional growth is not healthy, and there could be something perhaps it's not, I don't want to say perhaps something is not appropriate in that school for your child. I'm not saying the school is not appropriate. It's the school setup or what they teach perhaps is not the right fit for your child. So this communication, this type of investigation has to be constant. You have to constantly keep an eye on your child. And if you see something alarming, if something concerns, you do have to investigate. This is, as a parent, I do believe, my school, my children is in a ballet school I don't own. It's not my ballet school. My school my children's school, when they prepare for competition, both my daughters' classical variation is coached by other teachers, not me. You understand? I coach many students. That's what I do. I'm a ballet teacher, but my own children, I respect the fact it's belong to someone else teaching and coaching and even selecting the variation for them to participate in competition. So I wanted to be a parent. So as a parent, I wanted to do my part to protect, to guide my children, and I wanted to make sure their emotional and the technical and the physical progress is healthy. But what I don't want to do here at this moment is to intervene or interfere. That's something that is her school's responsibility. I will get to that in a second. But however, in this topic, we talk about how to know this is the right school for my child. Do your investigation, do your homework, do your research. At the end of the day, it's a feeling. It has to be a right fit for you. If it's right fit for 1,000 other students, it does not mean it's right fit for you. So you have to find a school that is appropriate, is a particular, at this moment, it serves its purpose for your child at this moment in her growth, okay? So that's one thing I do want to point out. It might work for everyone else. It does not mean work for her. So you have to find a school. It doesn't matter, big school or small school. Some of the smaller school does beautiful work in competitions. It doesn't matter about the size. It really comes down to the quality of the teacher and the reputation and the consistency in their service to their community, to the students. That is your number one concern. Second, I want to talk about is a professional career is not the only reason or pathway to study dance. Okay, that's just a statement to you. So talk about why. So why then, if there is the professional path? So if for example, my daughter wants to be a astronaut, and not astronaut, astrophysics. That's what she wants to do. It's a science-related topic that my daughter wants to be in. I'm so proud of her, my older daughter. And so she's in her high school right now. She does everything. She's doing pre-calculus AP courses prepare for that pathway. She spent a lot of time preparing for that particular career that she's interested in. So now your question to me is why my daughter spends this many hours, a lot of time aggravation, a lot of hard work in the ballet school if there's no professional outlet. What's the point? The point is very simple. We are preparing dance classes, dance education does not only provide a student. The goal of dance education, I call it classical artistic education, is an essential component in a quality person, in a person with a higher professional quality and higher emotional capacity person. Professional quality and higher emotional capacity. These two qualities that can only happen in a classical arts training, either is music, painting, or classical ballet. Because we're living in such a fast speed world. Everything is if I want to know something right now, I Google it right now. The answer comes up literally in seconds, give me all the answers. Artificial intelligence, another new element that comes into our world at this moment. We don't know what's going to happen 10 years from now. We have no idea how this conversation happened. I might just some kind of telegraph myself into your face. We don't know. The potential is absolutely endless right now. Somebody is studying me teaching, studying me talking right now. They might clone another Mr. Do out there talking better than me. We don't know what's going to happen 10 years from now. We have no idea. But I can be sure to you, classical ballet would still dance the same, because it's been the same in the last 30 to 50 years. And it progressed actually beautifully. Classical art, actually thrived. It's some of the most tumultuous time in our history. It didn't die. It didn't kill. Stalingrad, Leningrad, and now St. Petersburg. World War II. You know the scene. You know the siege. You know the former artist director of Kirov Academy, where I became a director in Washington Ballet, Washington D.C. here. Mr. Oleg Vinogradov. I asked him because at that time he was in St. Petersburg. I asked him. He went back to St. Petersburg after World War II. I asked him a question. I said, "What was like in St. Petersburg after World War II?" He told me it's like hell, hell. It's like it's a scene like out of in the worst war movie that you'll see, but in reality, actually, it's 10 times worse. And they built our country, but actually, some of the most glorious time in Russian ballet history actually came from some of the most difficult time, because it gave arts a purpose, give arts a opportunity to serve the community. So in this particular moment, you're talking Vaganova training, the Vaganova method, and it's span of 30 years. That's some of the most bloody, tumultuous time in Russian history. But Vaganova method thrived. You talk about World War I. It was born right after 1911. Right 1911. This is the Bolsheviks. This is the Russian Revolution. Then you go through World War II. Then the Iron Curtain, the communism, Iron Curtain. Then talk about Cold War. This 30 years expand within that history, with that period. This is the birth. This is the background. This is the environment where Vaganova method was born. So it gives artistic training, classical artistic training, always, what's embedded in the training is train us to be strong, to be tough. Give us opportunity, give students a opportunity to overcome challenges, to be resourceful, to create an idea of a perfect time management. Those skills is going to be beyond your imagination how important that is, because everything at a technical-driven society. Look at our studio. This is the ballet studio. How it's designed has not truly benefited that much from the technical advancement that we're experiencing here. And I think it's a fantastic thing. I think it's a good thing, especially today. In today's children's is growing up and what they accustomed to, what they accessible for them. What they need is truly understanding something needs to be accomplished, fine-tuned, takes time. Nothing like learning classical ballet if you want to have your child with that quality to withstand the challenge of technical advancement that you are going to experience in the next 10 years in her growing up. Okay, this is something that I believe that the benefit of students learning dance or any classical art form. Then I do want to talk about let's say you are interviewed for a job. Let's say for your interview job, you have 5 people equally qualified. They all have similar background, similar experience, similar resume, went to similar school. They all qualified. But the job is only one job. Now, at the end of the day, is the person can walk in that office with the confidence, shake somebody's hand, sit down with grace, with confidence, with a sense of openness to the public, and carry out a speech, and without any nervousness or of anything that would affect that kind of performance. Where do you think that performance is coming from? Where do you think that kind of confidence is coming from? This confidence is coming from performing on stage, perhaps participate in a competition. In that 2.5 minutes, does absolutely her best. And under the pressure, performing something require a very detailed technical requirement, but in that 2.5 minutes, carry out her best performance. So do you think that kind of confidence experience without practice can just happen? Yes, it can, but it have less chance compared to a person who has gone through those experiences, and more likely she or he is going to execute that interview better just because she or he has been there before, on stage, under the light, in the costume, in front of the audience multiple times. So therefore, if you think it's an investment as a parent, why invest the time and resources? If all your investment benefit one job interview, you succeeded, right? So this is all just a few other things that we think about beyond pursuing a professional dance career can benefit our children in dance education. How to support my child navigating their busy schedule and finding the physical and emotional balance. So I went to boarding school, and everything is by the belt, right? We wake up 6 o'clock, there's a belt. And 6:20, we have to go down in the field, start our morning exercise at 6:20. 7 o'clock, it stops. Start breakfast. By 8 o'clock, we're in the studio. Nobody ever have to tell us what to do. It's just by the bell. All life was surrounded by the bell. So in ways, that's vocational school for you. In ways, it's very simple because everything was set up that way, right? This is when you go to the cafeteria. When you go to the cafeteria, food is there. When you go to sleep, the bed is there. When something wrong, the physical therapy, the doctor's office is right there. And you go to next building, here is your academic class. This is the beauty of vocational school. But with all dancers, with all children these days are different. You'd see how many times your daughter eats her lunch in the car and doing her homework in the car on the way to the studio, and coming back after rehearsal, so tired, exhausted, but you still have homework to do. And I see my daughter do homework last year, her junior in high school, sometimes to 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. It breaks my heart, absolutely breaks my heart, because my school lights out 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, no lights. It doesn't matter where you are. Pitch dark in the school, so it forces you to be in the bed at 9. But she will go do her homework all the way to 12, sometimes 1 o'clock, 12:30. I see her write things and fall asleep. And all the time I try to just sit there with her. I don't want her to be like that, let her alone. Is it healthy? No, absolutely not. But reality is like that, because she goes to the ballet six days a week, 6 days. Only Sunday she has off. She's in ballet school 6 days a week. While other students using the time doing her homework, she's take ballet classes and variation, the rehearsals and everything else. So we as parents, we have to do our job in ways to support our child to navigating this busy schedule. To me, I think my advice to everyone is have a solid calendar, have a schedule. So just like my school, everything's by the belt. So it doesn't matter how busy your schedule is, you have to make sure that there is a planner that indicates Monday, what is her Mondays like? What is her Tuesdays like? And you have to, sometimes we cannot recognize something impossible unless we see it on paper. Unless you actually write it down, then you'll realize that she actually doesn't have any time building to do homework. So when we make our plan, this is our opportunity to do one thing, to eliminate the impossible. To eliminate the impossible. So as a parent, we have to be the last person to say this is not going to work just because as is, this schedule is not doable. So this is something that we cannot let go. You got to have the authority in ways that we need to support them to create a doable schedule. This is just something that very simple we can do. And finally, what is finding the physical and emotional balance? What is the physical emotional balance? What is the balance I'm talking about? It's the tipping point of fatigue. I repeat, it's the tipping point of the fatigue because the physical exhaustion to a moment or lack of sleep is both contribute to this. Lack of sleep and the overextended physical activity at one point is going to push this student over the edge, over the threshold. Once everybody, some people have a more of a capacity, the emotional, physical capacity. Some students have less. It doesn't matter. Every single one of them, every one of us has a limit. Right? Some people have a higher limit tolerance, have a lower. But at one point, this student, this child is going to push over the edge. Once that happens, it triggers a chain reaction to me in my situation, in my understanding. But my own experience as an adult, once the tipping point is breached, there's triggered a chain reaction, a emotional and a physical downward spiral. It will trigger something like this. Because this is our natural or emotional is our natural action to protect ourselves. Basically, it's like the surge protector that once it's overload, it shuts down. This is our own natural mechanism to protect ourselves, our body and mind. So as a parent, what I don't want to do is have my child to be anywhere near the threshold. So it requires us as parents to detect the signs of this child is near that threshold. So what are the signs? What are the signs? Let's investigate a little bit. What are the signs that I feel that she is or he is near that threshold? Triggered by lack of sleep, overexhausted as a activity in dance school, and other activities all contribute to this exhaustion. So for us, we nowadays we're talking about the psychological, the emotional health part of it very extensively. And to me, the contribution as my own little investigation and my understanding of this, a lot of emotional health, a lot of mental health issue comes from exhaustion. Now, again, I'm not a doctor, but I'm an educator. Actually, I'm the person in the fields to witnessing and experiencing a lot of those mental health issues. It comes from, simply put, the kind of activity today that all children experiencing is far beyond their mental and physical capacity. That's the result of a lot of the mental issues that we're experiencing today. So as a parent, we have to protect our children. We have to protect our children from this kind of overdrive, emotional and physical exhaustion. because it will trigger the type of mental health elements that we're dealing with today. Of course, it's not something I say all mental health issue is coming from tiresome or exhaustion. I'm not saying that. But I do believe parts of it, it could very well cure, let's just put it this way. Have a very good night's sleep. Have a very good, decent meal, perhaps not eating in a car. Sit down, have a real dinner with the parents, family together, have a movie night. Go have a trip, walking, have a nice walk outside. Have a down day, have a day absolutely do nothing. Those are the things that we can do to support, to detect the issue and the solving the issue for our children, for them to be successful in navigating this schedule. Actually, it's not going to change. This is just from one parent to another. It's not going to change. In my school, we have a built-in 45-minute nap day. Built-in, mandatory nap, mandatory. Now you say, what? Yes, I say it again. Silent. Dormitory is supposed to be nobody ever needs to talk. It's absolutely silence for 45 minutes. You don't have to go to sleep, but you don't have to close your eyes, but you cannot talk. It has to be absolutely silence in the dormitory. You have to be in your bed for 45 minutes. It's strategically built this time in the middle of the day for you to be quiet, to calm, to rejuvenate the energy. They didn't call it, but basically they want you to meditate. That's what they want you to do. They want you to say nothing, do nothing, stay still in bed. Now, keep in mind, we didn't have cell phone then. We didn't have internet. We didn't even have TV. We didn't have music. Even if you do, you're not allowed to play it. It has to be quiet. And I still have that habit because I still like to have a little nap in the middle of the day. It's still in my system because it helps me a lot. But with today, with the young generation today, the amount of information goes to their head from this phone is absolutely enormous amount of information. So the result of that is their mind never shut down. You understand, right? Even they lay down. But their mind is still active because the information is still going to the head. When the information, visual information, sound, or anything, it could be a comic, it could be something funny, could be something traumatic, could be something interesting, could be something sensational, whatever that might be, it goes in your head, needs energy to process it. So a part of their mind, it never gets rest, even if they lay in the bed. So we have to help them to navigate that. That we cannot say, okay, don't get rid of a cell phone, get rid of internet. That cannot be done. It's there to stay. So our job is guide them and help them to find the downtime, to have squeeze that 20 minutes to rest. And plan a schedule actually works. If your gut feeling tells you this is not doable, this schedule is too much, you're doing like 5 competitions in 3 months. If your gut feeling, your intelligence tells you this is not doable, guess what? It is not doable. It does not need to pack that tight their schedule. Because at one point, if this child is doing everything at 12, at 10 years old, doing something, it can only happen when a mature mind and body, let's say 18, 20, what is she or he going to do at 18, 18, 19, 20 year old? Empty. No fulfillment, no satisfaction, no stimulation, because everything that needs to be stimulated and felt happy at 18, she already experienced at 9. So, create a schedule appropriate for a 9-year-old. Create a schedule appropriate for a 12-year-old. Let the child be a child. Have the playtime for them. You don't need to feel extremely busy to have the fulfillment. So have some downtime, detect where the emotional and physical threshold, and provide your guidance and protection, and help the students say no. It's hard to do, but this is something I recommend. How do I best support my child dance journey? So this is the question. Interestingly, I wanted to talk about. How do I best support my child's dance journey? Talk about dance journey. What if you are not a dancer? I'm not a dance teacher, or I'm not a dance professional dancer. I don't know anything about this industry. How do I support her dance journey? So here's what I like to share with you. First, it's hard to understand, or harder for you to accept, is know what you don't know and accept what you don't know. Because each industry has its absolutely divided things that it needs to learn, needs to conquer, needs to be accomplished. Each division is very different. So although I could use my own professional experience, let's say as for example, as an accountant, just example, as a accountant to support my child's dance journey, I can help her in ways. I can help her organize her schedule. I can help her organize her daily chores. I can help her to make everything the more organized in ways that I can help her read the schedule. I can help her to communicate with the teachers. But I cannot pretend to know dance because you don't. So we just have to really, really understand this aspect of our role as a parent. And it is okay you don't know, because you have to leave that profession. You have to leave to the professionals. You have to trust the school. We talked about earlier. We have to bring our child to a school you can trust and you can communicate with. And you have to feel confident that you can let your child spend that 3 hours this afternoon in that school with the teachers in that school that you have to feel absolutely confident about, because she is going to teach your child the ballet, and to be honest, to be compassionate, to be resourceful, and ways of conquer challenges and difficulties and setbacks. You have to believe that their teacher is going to do all this. That's their role. And we have to accept that. And but then you say, how am I support? That means I'm gonna let go? How do I support if I completely detach myself from that aspect of her life? Your best support to your child's dance journey is to be a parent. Be a parent, like how I am. I wanted to be their father before I want to be as their dance teacher. I choose to be their father. It's my choice. I don't coach their classical variations. I don't. I'm standing by the door like a parent. I don't complain. When they come home, they have something about their variation. I recommend something, but I will never challenge the school, the teacher decision. If their teacher want her to dance that particular variation, she must have that reason. I don't ever challenge their dance teacher decision in front of them. I don't. Because if I do, you destroy the trust between your child and her teacher forever. If you say, I don't believe that's right, I don't believe that decision is right, in front of your child, if you make that statement about the dance teacher, one time, only takes one time, if you make a very stern statement, you don't believe that's right, I don't trust that teacher. If you ever make that statement in front of a child only one time, you are going to destroy her experience in that school forever. Literally, I'm not trying to be dramatic, literally. Because everything from that moment on, everything that teacher is saying that to your child, your voice has always come up because my parents does not believe my school, my teacher has my best interest in mind. That's the conclusion. So if we have, as a parent, if we have a disagreement with the teacher or with the school, that's between you and the school. It can never be expressed in front of your child. So that is your discipline you must have. It doesn't matter how outrageous you are about mistreatment, about unfairness, anything like that, but this is between you and the school in another channel. We cannot openly criticize. There's times that I disagree some of the decision-making of even variation choices. But I want to build. I want to let that trust build. This without, because the ballet is too hard. Without the trust and respect between the teacher and the student, it's very difficult for the teacher to do their business. So therefore, the learning experience of your child is going to be affected negatively. So for us, how do I support my child? Sometimes the best thing we do is step back. Step back. Knowing the school has your child's best interest in mind. Understand two things. You have to trust the school is going to teach her everything correctly, respect her, cherish her, love her, care for her, protect her. In the condition of that, you got to have that first. Then, what do? You hands off and step back. Yes? So actually, sometimes the best way to support them is just let it go. And you know what? Ballet journey, dance journey is challenging. It's just like every classical art. Like you study violin, a pianist, the journey itself is very similar. You're going to experience a lot of setbacks. You're going to experience multiple weeks without any improvement. You're going to experience something, disappointments. Go to the competition, do not get placed. But this is a part of life. This is why they are in that environment, so they can have this real life experience. So when they step into the society, they're not going to get crushed upon very first failure. So let them fail as heartbreaking as it might be to us. It's a part of the journey. When you go to the competition can be as many as 500 students. And they only have a few placements. What if your child wasn't one of them? That's a setback. It's not a failure. At least that's a disappointment. But that's a part of it. Not the winning part belong to everyone. There is one student get placed. There will be 20 others didn't. And that's just how it is. So we have to let that happen, allow that to happen, recognize and respect that that's a part of the journey. Watch how you talk to your students. In particular, one element is compare your child to others. For example, why can you be like her? We cannot say that because this is not how you support your child. But it could be the origination, the emotion could be very genuine, could be just come out of a sense of emotion, or you might think can trigger some type of it can stimulate the learning, but please watch. In all business, it's already very competitive. In all studios, in the competition, it's already very competitive. What they need from us as a parent is unconditional love and support. The one thing that we can never say is disappoint in ways that you are not as good as others. Not from us. They already experienced that in the competitions, already experienced that in the school, because that's just, we talk about as a way of life, that's how it is. But not from you, not from us. I won't say it. I will never say it. Why you're not as good as her? Why you didn't get placed? No. We are going to be there. We're going to play the role. When they fall, we're going to pick them up. And when they fall back, we're going to make sure they don't fall. This is our role. Our role is the shoulder to cry on. And you know, when I see my children go to competitions, I'm so scared I can't even watch. I'm not, you know why I'm scared? It is not, I don't care if they win or not. I don't care. I truly don't. But what I do care is I want them to have a good experience. I don't want them to hurt. I don't want them to get hurt. As a parent, I think you and I can relate. Right? I don't really expect they win this and that. That's never my motivation. My motivation is want them to have a good experience. I don't want to get disappointed and hurt. Because as a ballet teacher, I know how hard it is. And I don't want them to see the fear and how nervous I am. Sometimes I can't even look at them. It is hard because I know what they're going through. Sometimes knowing is difficult. I know how they go through because I compete in a competition before too. I know what's going on in their head. I know what they're physically, what they're going through, their mind, how it is a very challenging, difficult journey for them already. What they need from you is unconditional, a shoulder to cry on. The last thing they expect is your disappointment. So my advice from a parent to you is we live our lives. We get our pride and satisfaction and a sense of accomplishment from our career. Let's not bring our sense of stimulation of success from our children. So if they didn't win the competition, we cannot feel because we failed, we didn't win. No. We have to be proud for them, whatever they did, because they did their best. That's the end of it. And but it is addictive. If you have a winning child, let's say your child is winning all those big performances and cast beautiful roles and go to the competition and they win this and that, very quickly, very easily for you to be a part of that glory, very easily. Because you feel the sense of fulfillment through your child. But please, please, have the discipline of separate this. That's her and his accomplishment. Your accomplishment is raise a responsible child. You're not responsible. Don't put that responsibility on you. You didn't train that. Her teacher did. Understand? So therefore, don't get disappointed if she didn't win the competition. Don't get overjoyed she went just because you did something. We just love them. That's all we do. That's it. So let's separate our emotion from their winning, their success, and their setbacks, and it helps us to have a balanced emotion, have a balanced outlook to raise our children. In ballet, I cannot give any advice, but at this moment, this is what I think is important. You cannot control all of the disappointments and setbacks. You can't. Sometimes from my own experience, is my only control, my only wish is she doesn't get hurt. That's my only wish. As a father, I just don't want them to get hurt. I want them to be happy. Because I can tell them that no matter what happens, if you don't get placed, you didn't get top 12, whatever, your dad is okay with it. But you know they're disappointed. They're hurting. They want you to be proud. So you have to expect you can't control all of the disappointments, setbacks. It's just a part of if you decide to put them in that situation, you have to have the mental capacity to ready for disappointments and setbacks. In conclusion, let's be their guardian, leader, protector, and biggest champion. That's our role. That's our role. And I think, I want to say, come from my family, come from, let's say, Asian culture. I think sometimes we do emphasis a bit too much, from my point of view, of a sense of tough love. So our excuse, actually, as a parent, says, I'm going to play the role, and I'm going to install this hardship from our end. I'm going to set this kind of expectation. I'm going to show you how disappointed I am if you fail of anything in the name of tough love, in the name of good for the future. It's not true. It doesn't calculate that way. In reality, it does not calculate that way. Because there's some feelings between you and your child can be eroded. If you pass the threshold, if the pressure is so great, if it's so over the board, there's something damaged between you and your child can never be reversed. That you're facing the danger of that. I refuse to do this. I absolutely refuse to play that role. And I don't believe, actually, I don't believe works. Truly, I don't believe works. I think it's a self-esteem issue, that if the self-esteem part of self-respect, the self-esteem part is being eroded or damaged, has a permanent effect on your relationship with your children. It's a trusting effect. And I think for us, for some cultures, and have a false claim, in fact, that this is good for your future. But in ways that society is already doing that. So no need. They are going to get hit, bloody nose, they are going to get fall, the society will do that already at this moment. Let's not play that role. That's just my recommendation. Next topic, is winning competitions the only way to evaluate students' learning success? Is it? Is the learning competitions, when I was at school, we only had a domestic, we had China. I actually entered the very first ballet competition in China, very first one. I entered as a school. I had I was placed a third as a junior level. At that time, pre-Lausanne was, and the competition in Bulgaria, Varna International Ballet Competition. Altogether, I can say we have probably 5 competitions altogether. When I was in school, 5, all over the world. New York International Ballet Competition, Jackson Ballet Competition in Mississippi, and Varna in Bulgaria, pre-Lausanne only for young students, and the Moscow International Ballet Competitions. What is it, 5? And later on, I think the Asian countries, but it's not more than 10 when I was in school, internationally. Okay, so how many competitions we have right now? Many, right? I am a competition supporter. I do love competition because I believe it serves students a level of evaluation, a level of stimulation in their education cannot be replaced by anything else. So beyond that, it's just exam, right? So beyond exam, to evaluate students' learning success, competition is one of the really great ways, but I don't believe it's the only way. Right, so you say that, okay, if I'm in a ballet school, what if I don't do competition? How else can I evaluate how am I doing? There are multiple ways I want to explain to you. Don't get me wrong, I am a supporter of the ballet competition. I think it's a fantastic way of providing a calculated, managed pressure for students to stimulate learning and overcome difficulties. However, it's not the only way. So competition, it is a wonderful tool to stimulate learning outcome, number one. Okay, I promote that. I love that. When I was QF as a director, first time I took students to YGP, I took 35 students to YGP. The costume, I have to rent a truck. I have to rent like a truck. I had over 100-piece costume. Like we had a caravan to New York. We have like 2 trucks. Mr. Josh, how many vans we had? We had like a big school bus. I love competitions. However, it's not the only way. So also competition is a great pathway for scholarships and other educational opportunities because you look at the competition itself, it is way beyond just getting a peace certification. It's way beyond give a trophy. It's way beyond that nowadays. And I love the direction of the competition going. The main purpose to me at this moment is to be seen and to experience potential opportunities for further learning and possibility of scholarships. Right, so it's beyond just a trophy. So you go to, everybody comes with a big trophy as big as their body. Those days are changing. It's going to a better direction because many competitions comes with vast quantity of opportunity for scholarships and study abroad opportunities. For me, that's absolutely wonderful. My own daughter got full scholarship. 100% scholarship for a summer program that she enjoyed very much this over the summer, and she got a scholarship for another summer intensive, a partial scholarship. She also participated. She went to 6 weeks of summer intensive under YGP scholarship. She earned by placing, by her placement, her performance at YGP. And not necessarily, it's the scholarship part. It's not just the financial, save. Of course it is. You don't have to pay the tuition because scholarship. But mainly is the opportunity to meet other teachers, meet the other students in the community. Otherwise, you only have opportunity to study with a group of students that in your class. Right? So this is the opportunity to build the great pool of the students. They grow up, that group of 13, 14-year-olds is going to grow up together. If they could enter the professional world, they became friends when they were 14 years old. They see each other competition. They see each other summer intensives. They are the people is going to be the driving force and leadership and next generation of this profession. So how great is that? They already have that kind of community. How interesting is that? They see each other growing up, and through the benefit of social media, they still monitor each other's growth. And this is just among them. Then to meet the future employers, to meet the school directors, that give them the correction that their own school is not able to, or from another angle, another class, perhaps organize itself differently. My younger daughter went to Bolshoi. It's a John Crankle school in Connecticut. wonderful teacher. For a whole 3 weeks, she had a one teacher, and she truly learned, and I truly see the difference after she came home. So this is opportunity came from what? Came from participating in competition. So I'm a fan of the competition. But I do want to say that it is not only way to evaluate students' success, because if the success can be measured in a very different components in different ways. For example, short-term success is classroom, let's say ballet class, the normal structure is like they have a bar on the wall, they have a mirror in the front of the room. So we can actually feel a sense of accomplishment, sense of improving something every day. Classroom is a perfect opportunity, an environment for us to learn, to feel that kind of happiness, to feel that kind of success. Small success can be, I never did a single turn for 3 weeks. Today I did a perfect single turn. My teacher said it was great. Simple things like this occurring in ballet classes every day. But this kind of feeling, it's invaluable in their learning journey. To feel to make the connection through the hard work, listen to the instruction, changing habits, actually to make something work in a very beautiful way. That simple concept happens in the ballet school all the time, in the studio all the time. To me, in today's world, it's invaluable experience. So from a small element like this, we can measure a sense of success, small. Little bit bigger, let's say we have a certain curricular organized school. You're earning a certificate of certain level. The sense of progression that also in the ballet school is very clear. You are in level 1, go to level 2, go to level 3. And it's all through hard work based on the time and the energy you spend in a project, and then you're able to evolve into another project. So this kind of evolving, continuous learning, it is a very beautiful thing for students to feel. Learning aviation, perhaps. From learning aviation, not understanding anything of it, and very difficult in the beginning. The first diagonal takes a couple weeks to even do it. And then we have the center section of it, takes another couple weeks. Then finally, after a lot of work, I was able to perform this aviation. Perhaps teachers say it was good enough to go to a competition. That is priceless. That journey itself is absolutely priceless. So if we do it correctly, if there's a right school, we can really provide a beautiful, healthy, educational, competitive educational experience for our children, for a child. It's not necessarily she has to place in the big competitions. That's what we wanted to communicate about this is very clear. It could just be a very simple success in the single turn. It could be my leg used to be at 90 degrees, but I like data. Yeah, after 2 weeks of working on my flexibility, working on my leg is above 90 now. That little improvement itself, it is a beautiful thing, can occur in their journey. And I believe that it is absolutely okay not to participate in competition because you can find joy in other aspects of the school. That's why when you look for a school, you have to find a school equally important to take the students, whether you are participating in competition or not, treat them equally. So you want to make sure a school is not using the only care, spend the time on the competition group so they can put out a beautiful facade because my students are winning this and that, everything. Remember earlier we talked about, that might not have a direct effect on your child's learning experience. Understand? So you want to make sure the school is careful and have attention and have the compassion to every school, to every student in the school. Education should not build around the competition, but a broader range of affection and quality control with all the classes. And we also have to make sure we needed to respect the time needed for a successful outcome. So I often hear, ballet, two steps in ballet, plie and tendu, you know what that looks like. Plie is the two knees bend like this. Tendu is reaching out like this. These two things, you never graduate from bending the knees and stretch the legs. You don't. So for a parent, from a pair of untrained eye, saying that I spend a lot of money, a lot of time for my child to learn, she goes there, the first week she learned the plie and tendu, I see her bend two knees and stretch one leg. 6 months later, she's still doing that. We have to respect our form because this is how ballet is built. This is the soil. Plie and fifth position is a soil for the flower, for the grass, for the tree to grow. Okay, so what you're cultivating is a healthy, rich soil. That is just the fifth position. That is just beautiful plie, demi-plie without lifting heels. That's both legs stretched out in tendu position. Everything you see in ballet performance come from these three things, come from fifth position. So if we have to spend 6 months to create a fifth position, and that is the time that we need to cultivate the rich soil for everything to live on top of it. So you got to respect the progression of the art form, and you have to leave the timing of it to the experts. Winning and losing are both valuable in students' emotional growth. We touched a little bit on that. We learn and we grow, we be more mature, we're stronger through all kinds of experiences, including failure, including setbacks and disappointments. Actually, we learn a lot about ourselves, how we behave in front of setbacks and disappointments. Certainly, we want that to happen in your care, in your control. Have that. That's why I said earlier, when I described what competition is manage the pressure, understand? So it is not raw. It is not out there beyond your control. She or he still in your care. It's a manage the pressure, just enough amount. You're under the light, in the costume, in front of audience. You perform this 2 minutes of dance, and it should be as good as you can, in your best ability. It's simple structure is that. We can learn both. If we did absolutely our best, that run out there, I have never run this as good, but that perfect performance at my best ability, I actually turn better than in the studio, actually jump higher than the studio. Fantastic, happens. I've seen it absolutely happens. Students run off the stage ecstatic, absolutely happy, on top of the world. I've seen it, joy, crying, everything. I also see students, something rather unusual or even terrible happened on stage, never happened in the studio. Actually, let's say they run 5 times, 5 variations, 5 times in the studio. When they went on stage, sometimes it could be one of the worst one. Heart-wrenching, difficult, but that's a part of it. Next time, she knows how she would prepare herself better, including her teachers. Some things needs to work on. How do you better prepare yourself next time around? This just a part of the beauty about the process is we keep evolving, keep learning, keep improving, and we have to be supportive of that. What can I do to prepare my child to present themselves in the best way at the competition and the auditions? What can we do? This is it's also another layer of a very specific things. Uniforms. If this workshop requires a blue uniform, this is just blue uniform, and they give you a very specific store, the brand, the color, and the style to buy it, as a parent, we have to buy it. We have to do it. Because I see you don't want to be the only child in that entire workshop where something different. I see parents want to get away with it. It's a blue, it's a type of this similar blue, and it's a style. Why do we spend the money? It's blue. But talk about this is the money that is not the right place for you to save because you don't want your child stand out in that way. Understand? So you want to support them, spend the money, buy the correct uniform so she doesn't stand out in the not good way. Simple things. Schedules. Help them read the schedule. Yes, if they're mistaken or they are not clear with the schedule, that's where you're there for. You use other skill in your profession to help them read that schedule perfectly, right? So you want to make sure your child is not late for anything. When everybody is in place in the theater, the school said everybody needs to be in the theater 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You don't want your child to be there 5 just because you didn't read the schedule correctly, right? So we can help them. We needed to help them to avoid that. We must control our emotions and nervousness. At the competition, I see so many parents at the competition not supporting the child in the correct way by overly emotional. They can't control their nervousness in the theater in front of the students. Please, please be careful. Everything in your face, everything coming out of your mouth have effect on your children. If your eyes full of fear, learn from me. Don't look at them. Don't look at them, okay? So you don't want to look at your child full of fear. Don't, okay? They want you to be strong. They want you to be there for them. The last thing they need to see from you is more nervous than them. Understand, know when you have to leave them alone. Okay, when you have to leave them alone, you let them have a quiet time to think for themselves. Study the competition and the program before you audition. Okay, so make sure this is right competition for your child. Make sure this is the right workshop for her. Study it, do your research, so it's appropriate event at this moment. It's not too hard, not a different genre that she's not used to. Don't sign up for everything that other people are going. You really have to make sure it's the right program for her. So what do you do? This is the very nitty-gritty small things. What do you do with the scholarship offered to your child? Fantastic thing, but unable to take it. But the very good thing to do is etiquette-wise. This is a new world we're in. We have a different type of etiquette. The etiquette for you to do is right timingly. No, the minute you know you're not able to take that scholarship, you have to communicate with the school right away, saying, very simple email. We're grateful, thank you very much for the scholarship offered to my daughter, but due to such and such a reason, she's not able to take this scholarship. Please know that we are grateful. Thank you very much. We hope to have this opportunity again next year. Simple email. Beautiful. right? That's just new world etiquette that we have to have, because that they could give the scholarship very well to another person. So if at the very end you tell them that you cannot take the scholarship, while you could have told them earlier and they could have the scholarship to give other people, it's not going to, it's not well, it doesn't, the etiquette wise, it's not the good form. Last thing I want to say is, why is summer intensive important? We covered that a little bit before. Is understand the summertime actually is a beautiful time for us to organize ourselves, to have some downtime, to rest, right? To have the opportunity to take the vacation, take the downtime, but at the same time, summer intensive is a great opportunity environment for you to enter something different, for you to learn something different, for you to have a different environment, and for you to have the opportunity to be a brand new you. For you to learn something from a teacher perhaps doesn't know you when you're 9 years old. She only knows you when you're 14. Now you're 13, 14 years old. It's a new, you can present a brand new self to this school for this 3 weeks. And for you to learn something different from other teachers and from the classmates. Different scenario, you have to choose 3 different living arrangement. This is just something that from apparent to you. Dormitory versus stay at home, and compared to Airbnb with a parent. We, as a father, as a family, we experience all 3. One of the summer intensive, she was in the dormitory. The other was my wife at Airbnb with her. They stayed not in the dormitory. She's not ready for it, but she's at Airbnb. The other, third one, was stay at home. A different student, different the period, the time in their lives. The choice is ours. We just have to make appropriate choice for them according to your family structure. Does the size of the program matter? No, it does not. I've seen some incredible programs that only have 20, 30 people, 40 people, incredible programs that learn so much and the incredible qualities. And big program has its benefit as well. So the size does not really matter, but what matters is the right fit for your child at this moment, and the quality of the faculty the most important. Is the individual attention and the correction important to the learning experience and outcome? Absolutely, absolutely. While we have the same to say, corrections for everybody in the school, in the class, yes, it's true, but also a class, a program dedicated to individualize the correction and pay special attention to every individual student. They have the capacity to do it normally in the smaller programs, but also with the teacher, the type of teacher who value this kind of teaching. It's absolutely essential to their growth. So for me, it's important for me that they receive individual attention and the corrections. To me, it's important. To me, it has less value if a class is, let's say, 35 people, 40 people, and you have a seat of students, teachers. I don't believe a ballet teacher can be able to take care of everyone if this class is past 25 to 30 people. If past 30 people, I don't believe one teacher is able to, is able to deliver the type of content, that kind of education, to allow everybody in that classroom to benefit his teaching because of the size of the class. So I actually prefer smaller class where the attention is being given to everyone. What if the school is inviting your child to stay for the year-round program? It's an invitation, so guess who has the choice? You do. Family does have the choice. So when you reject that kind of offer, It is not end of the world. It is not the concern of the school is going to have a bad taste, the bad feeling about your child. Have nothing to do with that. Every school knows very well when they offer something like this, it's the end of the summer, I would like your daughter to stay because or school or year-round program fits her really wonderfully. That choice is 100% in your hands. You have to evaluate everything before you make up your mind. And the notion of saying no, there will be no other opportunities, or is going to make somebody or some school unhappy, no. It's irrelevant, because you're talking about the timing of your child's growth, and really have nothing to do with the timing of that school. It's your child and your decision. So this is just touch the topic, just something I feel like at the first round we have this kind of communication for me to share some of immediate concern of ours. So next, I wanted to entering this moment right here is we have a Q&A session, because we received a lot of questions from the parents. Some of them are really, really great questions. So I just picked a few of them so we can discuss. This is just a part of the dialogue or communication. Again, all those questions, I'm going to take a little time, but systematically record my answer to all of your questions. We're going to store in our community board, which is Mr. Josh is going to invite everybody to sign in, everybody to be a part of this community, where is going to have very rich information for all of us to be. So the first question is, my child is currently 11 years old, and she tends to have stage anxiety when it comes to competition. Stage anxiety, who doesn't? Oh my God, who doesn't? You walk on this empty space, it takes literally eternity for you to walk from the wings to the center, and she's 11. Oh my God, I remember my first competition, I was about 13. I was 14 actually, 14, my 4th year in school. I was so nervous, I couldn't see everything. I didn't know what did I do? I had no idea. It's complete muscle memory. I have no clue where I was. I was a boy at 14. Now this child, I'm not sure probably is a her, because is a girl, yeah. And she's 11 and she has stage anxiety. It cannot be more normal. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? I see adults absolutely froze on stage. Absolutely froze. I'll tell you a story. Washington Ballet does Nutcracker, 30 Nutcrackers a year. So actually, they always invite celebrities, like politicians, but whatever, the politicians and the people to be in a party scene, a Nutcracker. And one time, I was a father. A wife was signed to me was a news anchor. Okay, so she does the news on TV. This is not a person who is not familiar with the stage. She actually talks to the camera like this. She froze. She and I supposed to walk on stage. She literally froze. I couldn't. She won't do it. She won't walk on stage. I literally had to drag her on stage. She won't walk. Her legs froze. Now, this is an adult, and this is a person who talking in front of the camera, a news anchor. So, as 11-year-old girl, anxiety for stage, absolutely normal. And the mom said, I tried to get rid of this problem by encouraging her to join more competitions and preparing her with more private classes. Yes, and preparation is right. But it could just be time. You just have to allow the time. Sometimes you push too hard, they have, if they react this way, if they push back, it's just more anxiety, more setback. So the best remedy sometimes could be just time. Let her take her time. A student's maturity, especially in ballet, and something you cannot rush. We don't set the time. She does. Her mind, her body is going to have this kind of experience, and at one point, it is going to get better. So by us pushing her so hard, or create an issue with it, create an issue on top of an issue, and I don't believe that's helpful for her. So while we install the mechanism, private lessons, and more competition to preparing her and give her more opportunity, it could just be to allow the time. So she said, what else we can do overcome these problems? I don't believe it's a problem, first of all. Okay, let's not treat it as a problem if it's not a problem. Because some student I see, when you come to empty space, like studio like this, they come here and they run around, they're having the best time of their lives because they look at themselves in the mirror, they're running, they're so happy. Studio, they just love to be in the studio. Some students doesn't have enough courage to come in here because it's a very intimidating space. Studio and stage, the same, very intimidating. Because the bare, you have nothing to hide. Like I'm talking to you with a desk. This is the normal studio. There's a barrier between the teacher and me. There's a barrier. I'm sitting. There is an enclosure that I feel more comfortable. But you have studio are so bare. There's nothing to hide. You come in, you feel that you're completely fully exposed in front of the mirror. And every single thing coming out of teacher's mouth as corrections tell you how wrong you are. Think about the environment. It could just be when they go on stage, they're so afraid to make mistake. There's a variety of reasons. So, my recommendation is not let it become a problem, because I don't believe it is one. Especially an 11-year-old, the mental capacity, you have to understand. They're very fragile, and it's very early infancy of development. So let it be, okay? So this question is, she says, my kid is only 8. 2024-2025 season, 25 is her first ballet variation season, okay? First of all, 8 years old, variation, to me, it's soon, it's very soon. But here is the world that we're in now, right? So there's no dial back. We cannot turn the clocks back. I didn't enter ballet school until I was 9. So normal vocational school won't accept anyone until they're 9. Because 9-year-old or 10 have enough of processing mechanism in their head and the body and enough control of their actions, bare minimum, for them to receive serious dance training. That's for vocational school. However, if we're not in vocational school, if we're just, extracurricular private school setting, this is the world we're in now, right? 8 years old doing variation. So we cannot dial back. So we're not even to talk about it. So number one question, how to work on core and muscle strength back at home with my child? And this is an interesting question. You have to understand, at 8 years old, she's still at the development stage of her body. So we really have to watch how much we manipulate. While it is a great stage to manipulate her body, because you can really work on the flexibility and the arch her feet, and turned out 8 years old is a very moldable body. You understand? They are not fully developed yet. So the advantage is working on a young body, you have better chance because it's still in development stage. You can work this type of turnout and flexibility before it becomes permanent developed, yes. However, having that said, we really have to make sure that the type of work, how much you work, you put it into it, that is in line with the capacity, her muscle, her joint, and her mind. It has to be in line with the current condition of her body. So, for example, to me, the floor exercises is a fantastic way for us to safely at home to help them to grow. And we can have the back muscle, the core muscle, and everything like that. We can do it no problem. However, it needs to be professionally guided, and the volume of it, we have to be careful not to do too much of it. This is the absolutely doable thing, yes. In terms of how and the muscle and how do we work, and I'm going to create videos and everything. I'm going to put the videos that we have before, and I have so many. If you look at my YouTube channel, I have so many information there to give you, but I will go to the details for that. Yes, the answer, yes, you can. How to figure out a practice or training routine with my child so that she can follow at home. This is a conversation between you and her teacher. This is the conversation between you and her teacher. And I love homework. So it is absolutely okay to ask her teacher for advice on the activity that she can do at home. So actually, her teacher should be the best person for you to go to than me, because I don't know her, your child, 8 years old, beautiful daughter. I don't know her, and I don't know her condition, so I couldn't really help her in a very effective way. But her teacher can. So this is the conversation between you and her teacher. Simply say, I like to support her core and muscle strength. I like to figure out a practice routine. We can help her at home. Can you give us a list what we can do? That's a perfect, legitimate, beautiful question. Her teacher should be able to help you in that front. As a parent, what are the things we can do to help? What are the things we better not to? So I talked about this extensively earlier. We have to be their mental supporter. We have to guide them. But we cannot give their advice that we are not an expert of. For example, a variation, how to pick a variation. Parents cannot be a part of that because we don't know. You don't know the classical variation. You cannot be their ballet teacher if you are an untrained person. It doesn't matter how come from a love, come from a good place. That's her ballet teacher's job. We cannot go to her ballet teacher and say, my daughter would like to do this variation. That's a difficult conversation. You can ask her teacher, said, what do you see her do in, let's say, next 6 months, and what it will take, what is the pathway for my child to learn a variation, perhaps to enter a competition? That's a very beautiful conversation to have. What is the pathway? What it will take? More classes, work on the feet, work on turnout. That's a very specific, a very beautiful meeting between you and the school. And the school more likely will support that because school would love to have enthusiastic parents, want to be a part of it. However, this competition can turn another very wrong if you're going there with a list to say, I would like to have my child to do this variation in 3 weeks. No, that cannot happen. So you ask, what cannot do? What we better not do? That. Don't do that. You give a timeline and specific variation, and you want to see the child winning a competition at the end of the year. No, we cannot do that. Okay, so that's for the very clear reason. What to say to a child if she didn't do well in the competition? We covered that before. You cannot show disappointment. You cannot blame them. You cannot compare them. You're there to support them. You're there to provide a shoulder when they cry. Believe me, they are more upset than you. Okay, they are the one want you to be proud. They are the people. They want you to be proud. They want you to do well. They want you to praise them. They want you to give them a hug. So you are going to be that person regardless whether they win or not. The beautiful thing you can say to them, you did absolutely the best. Next time we'll do better. You were beautiful out there. You did your best. Mommy know or daddy know that you did your best. And that's all we care about. And that's it. That's a beautiful conversation. Move on. Move on. All ballet teacher doesn't communicate with the parents much. What are the good questions parents can ask teacher to get feedback? Constructive, not random. Ask for a meeting. You have the right to do it. Ask for a meeting. You don't need it to bombard the teacher at, let's say, 9 o'clock at night when they finish their last class, they've been working all day. You say, can we have a meeting with you? You don't do that in other professions. There's no reason you do that in ballet school, right? You make an appointment. You say, can we have a conversation? And here is the couple things that I like to discuss. Don't go and surprise them with the topic. Give them a topic. I like to support. I like to see how my daughter is doing. I want to see how can we help her at home and what it takes for her to enter the competition. You outline the topic needs to be discussed so the teachers can be prepared for this conversation. This is a normal communication channel we have in the business world. And this should be done perfectly like in the ballet studio. So if we treat all ballet teachers with respect, with dignity, and this respect and dignity it will come back to you and your child. So everything needs to be dealt in a respectful way, in a business way, in a very serious way. So you ask what are good questions parents can ask teacher to give feedback. Those are the great questions. How can we help them? How can we support them? How can we be a partner with you? And how can we make progress? So then we have, my child is 14 and aspires to be a professional ballerina. So this statement right here, we have to be very careful because if she loves to dance, aspire to be, she wants to be, she has all this motivation. She danced beautifully in the living room. Whenever the music comes on, she danced beautifully. Whenever we drive with the music, she cannot move. Those are the very, very good indication of your daughter, your child is very gifted, very artistic, very gifted, very musical, and the dance is a part of her way to express herself. Those are fantastic, beautiful qualities. Yes, we know that. Wonderful. But that does not equal to be a professional ballerina. It does not equal to that. It can happen, absolutely. If child has a beautiful, gifted, physically gifted, emotionally and artistically, very musical and very beautiful with rhythm, and whenever music comes on, she stops dancing. Fantastic. But there's one obstacle. What about discipline? What about her tenacity? What about her will for hard work? What is her attitude, natural attitude for setback or criticism? I just named a few. Huge obstacles, huge. While you have a happy child, artistic, love to dance, has all the natural gifts. However, and the setback, the weaknesses is very difficult with criticism, very difficult with setback and failure, and have a prolonged physical endurance and stamina for long hour training. It can be trained. However, the gifted part does not equal to professional ballerina. So let's just get that understood that way. Or longing or desire does not equal to the actual outcome of it. We are constrained both by time and finance. How can I best support my daughter? This is a very interesting question because it does take a lot of resources and time in training. And how can I best support my daughter in this way? The simple answer is do your best. Simple answer is as a family, we have to do what we can to support them. If the takes is not to have a new car, not to have a vacation, so my daughter can go to summer intensive, that's a very, very normal practice. So we have limited resources. It's our choice to put our limited resources to the place that we believe is the better, good investment. So for me, if my daughter aspires to be a professional ballerina and she wants to go to a summer intensive, I'm going to do everything possible to make sure that happens. In fact, I do. I absolutely do what I just told you. I will sacrifice other things to make sure she has what she does. So but however, there's a limitation to that, right? So what we can do is allocate the resources, time to support her and do the capacity to the best in our capacity in terms of time and resources. That's a very logical process that we have to respect our limitation. She would like to attend full-time school, ballet school at 16. That she needs to go sooner. And this is a very individualized question because at 16, I do have to tell you, it is a bit late to go to vocational school, full-time ballet school. When you say full-time ballet school, I probably think that she's talking about vocational school. I do believe at 16, maybe I take it back. Maybe sometimes people to go to vocational school last 2 years of their training, last 2 years, go to study abroad, last 2 years, 16, 17, 2 years senior to have study at vocational school. It is okay, but this is an individualized question that have everything to do with the maturity and readiness of your child to live away from home. Some students are ready at 12. Believe me, they're ready at 12. They're ready to go. They're perfectly sufficient in dormitories. Some students are not ready at 17. So for you to consider this, I want to ask you that is she ready at 16 to move away from home? Is going to moving away from home, moving away from your care, living in a dormitory, is this a big issue? Can she function? Can her emotional readiness allowing her to be alone, to be in foreign country perhaps, another state, sleep in a dormitory? Those are the elements that we have to take into full consideration. So all depends. If she is ready, and I think it's a good choice. I think she's ready. For my daughter, if I see 16, if she becomes 16, she wants to go to vocational school, if I see it's appropriate for her at this moment, I'll let her go. but mainly is she has to be ready. And you can say, well, she's never going to be ready if you don't let her go. There is a balance. There is a balance, okay? There's a balance. As a parent, you have to decide. Because if she's not ready to the point where it's going to cause her a great deal of stress by living alone, then then the whole point doesn't exist. There's defeat the point. What can I do to maximize her chances? Is it better to save the time and money for training versus competitions? This is a very good question. Again, there has to be balance. Training and competition does not mean one replaces the other. Training itself is a broader idea. Training for what? You can say training for the competition, or you can training for her professional career. But training for the competition perhaps is a part of training for her professional career, because competition itself very likely is going to provide an opportunity and pathway for her to go to the next stage. So this is connected. So it is not you do one or the other. Your training is a part of competition is training. So these two things is very much connected and could offer very much the same opportunities for students today. But I do believe competition is a fantastic pathway, because at that event, you have the opportunity to be seen by directors. And very likely, there's an opportunity, there's a chance that scholarship can be offered. So this is why competition today offer a tremendous amount of opportunity for study abroad opportunities, summer intensive, and year-round programs, and everything in that regard as can be presented to you by participating in the competition. So training for the competition is connected to the professional opportunities. That pathway is becoming a very open pathway, and for many people to go that route. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now I wanted to just make sure we understand the time that I always talk, the time passed very quickly. So I wanted to, there's so many questions like this I wanted to answer, but I will answer them and put it in the video. So please join us at the school, the community board, and we have here. This is something for parents to be a part of it, and we can create a beautiful program, community where we have a conversation together about these wonderful programs. So I'm wondering, this is also DuCon. Please join us at our own summer intensive. It was DuCon International. This 2024 and 2025 season just announced recently. We are going to go to, our next step is going to Brazil, São Paulo, Brazil. Then we're going to go to Shanghai, China. And we have a workshop actually in Taiwan, not DuCon, but just a workshop in Taiwan. And we are going to have some intensive in Malaysia and Singapore, then California and Maryland, United States. So that pretty much covers a lot of space along the globe. And find a location near you, everyone. Okay, join us. And let us to be a part of your journey, and let me to be a part of your supporter, and know that I always support you and your biggest champion. And you and I together, and we can provide lots of opportunities and for your children. And I always appreciate your support of me and your trust. And let's move forward and thrive together. Thank you very much for your time. I truly appreciate it. Thank you.